Welcome to the Lee Michaels Show with Carol and your daily cast of characters, where we discuss the issues of the day, entertainment news, what's really going on in Washington, and the world. Why don't we just hear it from the horse's mouth himself?
We can't have someone in the Oval Office who doesn't understand the meaning of the word confidential or classified. I don't think it's safe to be briefed on national security because the word will get out. I know at some point they're going to want to brief me, but I'm not a talker about this stuff. This is like Watergate, only it's worse. Because here, our foreign enemies were in a position to hack our most sensitive national security secrets.
Of course, it turns out the Russians didn't need to hack Hillary's email server. They were able to hack Trump's mouth.
This is like Watergate, only it's worse.
The Lee Michaels Show on the Power of Voices Radio Network.
Well, there was some truth that came out of the jackass's mouth. This is worse than Watergate. The testifying going on right now, well, maybe it's over now, with Homie, former FBI head. I'm calling him Homie because Homie don't play that. Homie is spitting up his guts left and right. He's putting everything out there that he can say in a public forum. Can you imagine what he's going to tell the Senate and others behind closed doors, those secret, confidential pieces of information? OMG, it's on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Good morning. Hi, Carol. How are you?
Good morning. I was listening while I was walking, and there was a lot of things he wouldn't really incriminate him.
Well, he can't talk about certain things because it's classified information.
Well, he said that when he couldn't, but when he could, he would say things like, well, he made it sound like he didn't ask him not to or something he would say.
Oh, well.
So I was a little confused there.
Well, the one thing that the president did was really, 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 really wrong was to ask the head of the FBI to more or less drop the case against Flynn. Oh, he's a nice guy. Come on. Yeah, can I get your support on that? Hell no.
Well, it's strange.
Inappropriate for the president to ask the head of the FBI to do that.
What was strange to me was when he said that the guy came in with different stories, but he also said that one lady, I don't know if it was Camelia Harris or one of them, asked him, well, if the president asked you to drop something or do it, and he said, well, I'm not that into the government to know all that, but I think if he does. He was answering questions which was confusing me some. But one question that really got me when they asked him why did he not give the recordings before to somebody, and he said he did a friend. I could read his mind almost that he did that to protect himself because if they killed him, someone had that.
I mean, that's why when he got in his car on the way back to his office, he began to document the conversation. And he did share that with some other heads of the FBI. So he covered his ass. There's no question. He's a smart guy. Now, he's a very smart guy. He's compassionate and passionate, or rather, about what he was doing when he was the head of the FBI. At the same time, he did make a couple of little mistakes. And I think looking back, he regrets some of the things that he didn't do and maybe a few things that he did do. But at the end of the day, I think he's done a credible job, and I think he meant well. And I think moving forward with the special prosecutor or investigator, there's going to be a lot of crap to hit the fan. Let me bring in Chris into the show. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Boom Shakalaka. Good morning, Lee. Good morning, Carol. How you doing?
Good morning.
We're doing good.
All right.
Real good.
Yeah, man.
So what's your take?
Well, I think 45, the president's being pressured. I think he realizes that everything's going to come to proverbial head because we look at right now with what Mr. Former FBI Director James Comey has said so far.
Homie.
Yeah,
He's
can't
homie
say
now.
Homie. You've seen in his body language, even when he talks, that he's trying to give as much info as possible, and like anything else, you can't say too much because a lot of stuff is going to be behind the scenes, like you said before. In fact, they have a 1 p.m. meeting Eastern time behind the scenes to go over other information that cannot be released to the
Disclosed
public
publicly. Yeah.
Exactly right. So the one thing I thought was also impressive was the fact that he came out, meaning Comey, usually I call him Homie, said that he wants the tapes to be released.
Yeah.
In fact, his direct quote was, "Lordy," not Lord, Lordy.
I hope
there
they
are tapes
Exactly.
of the Trump meeting. See,
And
that's a
that-
bold statement right there.
Exactly. It'll support everything that he has said. Yeah.
Yes.
You certainly can make the tapes lie, but he did straight up call the president a liar, though, didn't he? He said he was
he
afraid
sure
that he
did.
might lie. So
Right.
it's a part of his DNA. Can't help it. Straight
right.
up.
And once again, you can't. I think he's as consistent as somebody could be in that pressure situation. And if you notice, everybody on the Senate Intelligence Committee pretty much was saying, "We thank you for being here. We admire you."
Right.
Prayer to you and your family, because this is not easy. And him being a part of the FBI, of course, he knows about, cloak and dagger stuff, which is the reason why he gave his material that he knew to a friend of his who was a college professor, as he stated in the testimony.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's interesting that Comey put out his opening remarks yesterday or last night to preempt. The president was supposed, and I don't know if he did or not, because even if he did, I wouldn't watch it. He was supposed to be out announcing something or doing something on TV today during the same time that Comey was supposed to be testifying.
Yeah.
So Homie don't play, man. He put his stuff out
No.
there and said, "Let me preempt this sucker right now." Nobody
Right.
gives a damn about what the president is saying today. Nobody.
I thought he
No.
was. They said he was sitting in the White House.
I'm sure
watching
he was.
it.
I'm sure he was. And the White
That's
House,
what they said.
his White House support staff was telling him, "No tweeting today. Put your damn phone in the desk drawer and lock it. Don't say a word."
Be quiet, please, Mr. President.
Now, let's go back and talk about some of the things that we have found in this testimony today.
Well, one thing I'm sorry, go ahead.
There were 9 meetings / telephone conversations and meetings combination with the president and former head of the FBI. Some of them privately. That in itself is dangerous. Where was the White House attorney to advise the president not to have those kind of closed door conversations, because the implications could be damaging to the White House and to the president himself? When they had the meeting at the White House and the top people in his administration, including the attorney general, and was the vice president in that meeting? Yeah, I think the vice president was at this meeting too, and some other big muckety-mucks in the Republican Party. He excused all of them, every one of them. They're standing out in the hallway like kids go in to see the principal, waiting for him to come out, and had a private conversation with Comey. Red light, red light, red light. Danger, danger, danger. Wrong, wrong, wrong. This guy is dangerous. The President of the United States is a dangerous, ignorant, selfish lunatic. And everybody around him fits in the same category because they allowed him. Why didn't one of these guys have the chutzpah, the balls, the manhood to stand up and say, "No, Mr. President, you cannot have a closed-door meeting, a private meeting with the head of the FBI. No, Mr. President, I have to be here for your protection." Why didn't they do that? Why? Because they're afraid of getting fired.
You're fired.
That's right. They're chumps. Every last one of them. I heard the stick in the mud in there. Good morning, Alfo.
Well, Lee, Carol, Chris, good morning to you all.
You sound so much better today. You sound like the old Alfo from
I
ago.
wonder why.
Because it took me an hour and a half to get you straight.
Are you basically exaggerating on the length of time that it?
Well, okay.
Jesus, Lee.
It was 22
I'll tell you, I had to document that because I feared you would lie. let me say this.
Yeah.
He said, I wrote it down. One of the Republican senators asked him that you didn't write down the Bush conversations or the Obama conversations.
Right.
So why didn't you write down the Trump conversations?
CYA, because I know he might lie. That's why. I didn't have those credibility issues with the other president. That's why. That's what he should have said.
Okay. He should have said, because not only do I think he would lie, but I'm still waiting on the investigative team that went to Hawaii to challenge the citizenship of our first black president. I'm still waiting on the information to come through from him being wiretapped by the president.
Exactly.
I'm still waiting on the information that 3 million people, destroying this man's credibility would be easy. And you want to talk about somebody who should have had balls? It should have been Comey. And all he had to do was put those comparisons. Just suppose his record right next to Trump's record.
Well,
and who's told the most lies?
I think he did that in the best that he could, in a public forum without, being.
You're in a public forum, and he's already attacked you.
Yeah, but listen, he doesn't
Damn the nice stuff.
No, but he see, people are already accusing him of showboating.
Okay, so showboat, damn it. People ain't accused him of shit. That's Donald Trump that's accused him of showboating.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, you're right, but whether they got the message from Donald Trump or not, but there are other people who are claiming
did Trump
that he
say,
showboated.
Alpha, that he recorded their conversations?
They did what?
Yeah.
So I liked it when he said he hoped he did, like you said, he recorded everything.
Yeah, I hope so
Trump
too.
Record it?
Well, that was another lie.
We don't know.
That was another lie. And you call it a lie because then you make him prove you wrong. And if he can prove you wrong, that means those conversations are subpoenaed. They are of the public realm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not hard to paint a bastard like this into a corner. He is a weasel. He is a lying weasel. And you have to fight and give as good as you get. And Comey, with his slick ass, because putting this out in a 7-page statement a day before was smooth.
Oh, totally. Totally. It preempted anything that the president might do today while he's testifying. So he got his message out there, out front, gave the media an opportunity to read through it, pick it apart, and use parts of it in newscasts. And I checked every network on cable. I went through all of them last night, except for Fox. I don't give a damn if the world comes to an end and they're the only ones still on the air. I will not listen to Fox. I just can't do it. But I went through all of the other news outlets, and everybody was talking about it.
And I'm convinced that this is what it looks like when you frame a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
He put that out the day before, and it just swept them off their feet.
Totally. It was brilliant. Brilliant
move. That's a good move. That's a good chess move, to be honest with you.
Oh, no question. It was a master move. And the president couldn't do anything about it. It's out there. You can't go take two and pull that back. No, we can't run that. No, cancel that show.
That's right.
He can't do anything about that.
That's right.
Were any of you looking at the comments on? I don't know if you watched it on TV or. I was watching it on my phone because I was walking. But the comments that were coming in, they were a trap.
Oh, I'm sure.
You had a lot of Republicans in there saying stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's time for the Republicans to stop being ignorant.
Oh, they said Los Angeles were ignorant.
Well, okay.
There was comments coming in.
Okay, whatever.
Because, Brown went to, was it China? And they rolled out the red carpet for him.
I'm sure.
Not for Trump, though.
California is the 5th largest economy in the world. So, I mean, come on. Of course they're going to roll it out because they want our money. They want our business from the state of California. So, that's a powerful move. Now, Sessions should resign right now because when they had that meeting and the president excused him and everybody else, he should have said, "No, Mr. President, from my position, I cannot leave this meeting, okay, because you cannot, Mr. President. It would be highly inappropriate and a conflict of interest and everything else, a possible obstruction of justice for you to have a private meeting with the FBI chief. I can't do it. I have to stay here. And in fact, get the White House attorney in here as well.
Well,
there's nothing that you should say to this man in private.
He was on his side until he found out Trump did coke, and then he didn't want to. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the KKK in pot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Let me ask you this. If we now know that the Russians have had access to all kinds of information through whatever methods, the method doesn't matter at this point, but the fact of the matter is they have access to a lot of information, including voter information, and how to manipulate the outcome of an election. The United States of America is now Russia's, and excuse my street language I'm about to use.
No.
If you got children around, let me just lay it out here plain and simple. America is Russia's bitch, okay? America has been pimped out by Russia. Russia pulled off the quiet storm, the tsunami that nobody could see, feel, or hear. Even the animals who can hear tsunamis coming were sleeping. This was a masterful pull-off by the Russians. Now, what does that mean? You say, okay, Lee, all right, so they tapped in here, they tapped in there, and they ran some ads and influenced the thinking and the outcome of the election, which every poll in America was showing that he was not going to win. Every poll can't be wrong. Okay? Put a note on that. Let's put that up on the blackboard. Every poll cannot be wrong. The science of polling has been going on for a long time. I believe in science and research and polling and all that. All of my radio career, I've used it to perfection. And you win when you know what people are thinking, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Now, how can everybody in the United States of America at every level not know that this election was being influenced? There are too many tentacles leaking back to Russia relationships, including the president, including Sessions, including Flynn, and it goes on and on and on. This election is not valid. Period. End.
Period. You hear no one saying that, Lee.
But they got to sooner or later.
Look. What you are witnessing is the timid Democrats, progressives, trying to not be the over-the-top attack dogs, while the attack dogs is viciously ripping their legs apart. It's at their heels. Republicans will attack you at every level. You remember Hillary is crooked. Hillary is this, Hillary is that. President Clinton colluded with the Attorney General on the plane without any evidence. They will say shit without any evidence.
Of course.
Without any, and leave it to reasonable doubt. Leave it to their base to be reasonable.
You know
And
how
that's
confident,
an oxymoron.
how confident he was in calling Hillary a crook, and how bodacious and outspoken he was about it. He was running interference then. He was putting the focus on her so it wouldn't be on him, because he knew, I believe, that the president knew. He knew what was going on. And that's the link that needs to be made, getting back to that man and everybody around him. And I think Priebus, I think he knew something. And I also
McConnell.
think that Ryan
And
had
Ryan,
to have
they're all
some
in the
knowledge of
ballpark.
it. Absolutely.
They're all in the ballpark.
Now, did you
And see?
go ahead?
ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, to get a clearer picture, all you have to do is listen to Hillary Clinton's explanation. Russia may have gotten all of this information, but Russia didn't know how to weaponize it by pinpointing it to each and every state and where to do it, how to do it. They had help.
That's a good point.
And the help was the Republican Party.
Yeah. They had to leak some information and assist in making that happen. Unless they had tapped into everything, which it's not impossible. Listen, there are websites that show hacking activity 24 hours a day. You can see the movement coming from the U.S., because we're hacking as well, coming from China, coming from Russia, coming from all over the world. These dotted lines going back and forth. It's like an electronic war. You know, it's a war without using missiles, bullets, nothing. But it's all done electronically. And you can sit there for hours and watch this activity. And coming out of Russia is massive.
Well,
Massive. They must have thousands of computers set up in rooms somewhere, hacking into computers all over the world, including the United States.
Well, it's like I said before in my analogy when it comes to movies. You go back and you check out and you watch you can fast forward if you like from New Jack City. When Leslie Snipes playing Nino Brown in a situation with 45, he'll be Nino Orange. He sits up and says, look, if this is going to happen, we're all going to go down. And he knows that. That's where James Comey comes in saying, look, I have to protect me because I know this is about to be a powder keg.
Yeah.
And it's been proliferating. It's been around the trenches for a long time now. And it's about to crumble. And everybody knows, everybody around knows that. Because as I said before, you can name the names. It's an ongoing list of people. And as we now know, that is the case about Russia, and we being, as you say, the street vernacular of being Russia's bitch all these years. How long has America been put out on the stroll?
Yeah.
If we've been bitching all this long time,
They didn't know it.
We've been set out, lost and turned out, as we usually say on this program. How long has the timeline been for these people to have sold their asses literally to Russia? So the timeline is going to be exposed as well when this happens.
Yeah.